We begin in the Middle East and the war between Iran and the United States. Iran's supreme leader speaking out today for the first time since his predecessor's funeral. His comments come just days after an intense exchange of fire between the two sides. The CBC's Julia Chapman is following this story for us from London. Julia, what's he saying?
Well, Linda, Mojtaba Khamenei hasn't been seen in public since becoming Iran's supreme leader, but he has issued several statements in that time. The latest following the funeral of his father, Ali Khamenei, which took place over 6 days last week. And he is promising to avenge his father's death, saying that that is the desire of the nation. And he describes the killers who were behind the attack early on in the Iran US-Israel war. He calls them criminal and dishonorable murders. There have also been strong words overnight from US President Donald Trump threatening Iran after claims that there was an assassination plot against him from Iran. He says 1,000 missiles are locked and loaded, aimed at Iran, with thousands more to immediately follow should the Iranian government act on the threat to assassinate or attempt to assassinate the sitting president, in this case, me. So strong language from both sides against the backdrop of this increase in violence over the past week, which saw several commercial ships attacked in the Strait of Hormuz, the US retaliating with widespread strikes on Iran, and Iran hitting back at some of the US Gulf allies. Quite an uptick, although there was calm on Friday as negotiations are starting to get underway today in Oman over the Strait of Hormuz.
And meanwhile, Trump says the ceasefire is over, but as you point out, those negotiations continue. What more can you tell us about that?
Well, the foreign minister of Iran is already in Oman for these talks. It's thought that the U.S. is sending a pretty high-level delegation itself, including U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance. And although there has been a ceasefire in place since mid-June, and that was aimed at kickstarting 60 days of wider peace talks and technical nuclear negotiations, we're already a third of the way into that period, and they have been faltering. Today's talks are very limited to what's going on in the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. officials are demanding that Iran reopen the Strait of Hormuz fully. They accuse Iran of only using the northern channel, the northern route close to the Iranian border. They say that the full strait needs to be reopened and there needs to be a public declaration to that effect. But the Iranians have accused the U.S. Of causing the escalation over the past week. We heard from Iran's ambassador to the United Nations yesterday. Take a listen.
Iran remained committed to the faithful implementation of Memorandum of Understanding, provided that the United States fully and faithfully complies with its own obligation.
Analysts say an escalation isn't in either side's interest, but there could still be further flare-ups of violence as these talks continue.
CBC's Julia Chapman in London.